Ladies and gentlemen, for this topic of budget to bespoke East housing demand dynamics, we have with us today Santanu Ghosh, Executive Director and Head East Tenant Representation, Cushman and Wakefield as the Honorable Moderator. Shantanuji leads the East region for Cushman and Wakefield, bringing his strategic acumen and extensive experience across office leasing, retail, capital markets, and land transactions. With over 20 years of experience in the Kolkata market, Shantanuji is acknowledged for the significant quantum of space leased, the value of capital market transactions executed, and the number of deals structured under his supervision. To join us on stage as honorable speakers, we have with us today Arihant Parakh, Director, Orbit Group. Having completed 12 years at Orbit Group, Arihant spearheads the organization into the new era. His core responsibilities are setting vision, values, corporate culture, and executing organizational strategy across different verticals. Ladies and gentlemen, he's passionate about learning new technological developments globally, and he's also the flag bearer of the Orbit philosophy, Risto Ki Mithas. We also have with us today Manab, founder Sree Balaji. Sree Balaji, ladies and gentlemen, was founded by Manab, a first-generation entrepreneur with the vision to build world-class residential and commercial spaces that create a better and more humane living and working environment. Customer delight and concern for the environment are two key driving principles that Manabji follows at Sree Balaji. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have with us today Saumya Vardhan Patodia, Director, Signum Group. Saumya ji joined the business way back in the year 2010 and heads planning and strategy over there. He drives the company's core business strategy with a strong sense of innovation. His understanding of potential has helped the Signum Group expand all the way to Hyderabad. The success of Signum Group and its base of happy customers owes so much to his vision. We also have with us today Varun Bagla, Managing Director, Saltee Group, with prior experience of working as a property consultant at JDL Strategies, Queensland, Australia. Varunji is a second generation entrepreneur and oversees every aspect of the business. He has marked the company's presence in hospitality, residential and commercial projects across multiple cities and has played a very, very crucial role in modernizing the business operations, expanding market reach by providing new age real estate solutions across. And we also have with us today Yashaswi Shroff, Executive and Marketing Director, Alcove Realty. Yashaswi ji is a visionary executor of the 42 Kolkata's tallest residential tower, and he has set new standards in luxury living for sure. Yashaswi ji honed his financial expertise during his CA articleship at Ernst & Young before joining Alcove Realty. He has been instrumental in shaping the company's growth and reputation. He's been an active leader in CREDI and has held several key positions such as CYWE Zone and CREDI Bengal Managing Committee member. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic, budget to bespoke East housing demand dynamics. The entire panel is here. Can I have a huge round of applause for all our speakers as they join up on stage? And when I say huge, it needs to really materialize with huge as well. So can I request all of you to clap loudly as I welcome all our speakers on stage? Can I have all of you on stage, please? Come on, Kolkata, we are known as City of Joy. We are known for spreading joy. Can we do a lot better in terms of clapping and appreciation for our very own people? Please, if I may have some more appreciation coming in from there. Thank you. Sir, the stage is ready, the panel is ready. Over to you. And can we update the timer, please?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So, I actually prepared a speech, but I've forgotten. So, let me try to kind of, keep it as a next tempo. So, thank you very much, Reality Plus, for, inviting me to moderate this panel, which brings along such a sharpest mind of real estate. So, as Calcutta, or rather as India is approaching about $5 trillion economy by 2028-29. So more number of cities need to emerge to kind of contribute. But unfortunately, until now, overall, the contribution from East is limited. And but the best part is things are kind of taking traction and which is largely driven by residential, uh, land and warehousing, and office leasing. But overall, my first question to kind of, Arihant. So you have played a key role in kind of, am I audible? Huh. So you have played a key role in kind of, reshaping the overall real estate in Calcutta. So how do you balance luxury and affordability in all your residential projects?
First of all, thank you for having me on this panel. See, it's a very challenging aspect to kind of have a perfect match or a perfect combination of luxury and affordability on a single project. But in the overall portfolio, we all, as a developers, try to kind of ensure that the match is there. I would like to, a very large extent, redefine luxury when it comes to just real estate. It's just not when it comes to the amenities or to the fact of what kind of material or your finishing itself. Luxury at a lot of times is redefined by the sense of space that we provide in the apartment as well, right? It's luxury is also defined about the usability and overall the comfort and the livability factor of the person who would eventually stay in the building, right? To ensure that there is a perfect balance, the intent to provide comfortable living spaces to make life easier for the eventual buyer who's staying in the building, that adds majority to the luxury aspect of the project. Affordability to a very large extent is kind of defined by the price factor. That is the major factor. So that kind of depends upon our potential to crack efficient deals, so that the intent to give at an efficient pricing can be balanced off there. But providing affordability and luxury in a single project comes with its own challenge, but across our entire portfolio, now we kind of understand that luxury, of course, does bring the flamboyance factor into the real estate, but affordability is where the overall long-run perspective is. So when it comes to location, keeping a conscious understanding the concept impact of the location of the projects that we are taking up when it comes to the connectivity factor and also the entire volume that the project brings in. And with an intent that even though with the price factor there's an affordability there, but when it comes to the amenities as well as also the sense of space, the luxury form is, or the luxury factor is being catered to for the buyer.
Very nice, very nicely articulated. Mr. Paul, my next question to you. It's like you are mostly into building, second home, which was more of aspirational, right? Now, according to you, which between these two segments which we are talking about, which one is picking up faster, and according to you, what are the reasons?
First of all, thank you Realty Plus to arrange such a platform where we can say together. And this is a very just a few minutes back, half an hour before, we had a session, I think, only in the sofa. And come to your question now, that I'm into a segment where luxury with affordability. This is the perfect blend I've been able to match in for the past 7 to 8 years. Most of my projects are not in city. It's very far from the city, but the USP of the project is the locational choice. The kind of locations that my company offer to the market that no other house can offer. So the location itself, the USP of the project, number one. And number two is the project, the way we conceive the project, always keeping in mind, Arihant just says that it's very difficult to match both the things, affordability with the luxury. Affordability is something, very fake word. Affordable, something maybe, one thing is affordable to me, may not be affordable to others. So affordability is a very, it's have many dimensions. So keeping both the thing, affordability with the luxury, is very challenging, but we've been able to match both the things because the location is far from the city, and we've been able to grab the main thing, the main raw material, the land. In gave to land, but we can procure the land in very lower cost. So Though these challenges we have overcome in past 7 to 8 years, so, but we found this kind of product is not only a fast moving, this is a very super fast moving product became, especially after COVID. People have understood that out of city they should have their a second home. So we've been, planned 2, 3 new projects also, 2, 3 new destinations also being added. And comparing to the cost factor is, I can say you at least 25 to 30% lesser to the main city project. That's the main catching point. So why the project is moving very fast, and people are now, we found this trend after COVID became also very fast, that people are saying now that they are ready to pay more for their second home, but they need more luxury. So the more bigger space is required in a bungalow. Initially, we planned bungalow 1200 square feet to 1300 square feet. Now people are saying that they are more eager for a bungalow size of 3000 square feet plus. So luxury in a second home, people are ready for take the affordability. So it's very good product, and comparing to main city project, we found more interest into this. So we're putting more money in many other destinations. We have already added 3 more destinations that nobody ever thought of. We are coming up with Mayapur also. We're coming up in Digha. So these are 2 destinations. We have the first time where a beach home in Bengal is coming up with a huge 900 units product is coming up. We know that Jagannath Mandir is also going to open, so it's become more hot of location right now. So we are very much hopeful with this kind of product.
So you talk about that, mindset change post-COVID. So what are the key changes you have kind of, identified post-COVID, which are kind of, leading people to invest in this kind of, second home projects?
In second home project, people find, say, after COVID, life has seen many changes. Like for the service holder, if you say, the MNCs and all, work from anywhere. This concept became very famous, and we found many, couple, both they are working professionals. They, in my Shantiniketan and project, I found in 2020 itself, at least 50 or 60 plus families, they've shifted their whole life to Shantiniketan for 3 months. And life is very simple over there. They can move around in city. That time this was a challenge. And after that, they had been really thought of this, they need some space in their life. With affordability, because second home always was a product where there is a difference like Maruti or a BMW. But I have blend both the thing, Maruti with a BMW with a product like Toyota. So that's become very affordable. So they saw that they are also able to afford this luxury, but in a very affordable manner. Initially, just go 10 years back, whatever the second home project in Calcutta were available, with only 2 or 3 projects were there, and that is within the city. And all the second home project, whatever was available, that's become a main city now. So going out of the city, again coming to a city, that's not being a choice. So when I offered someone, suppose I can give you a home where you can have a sip of tea, morning tea with Kanchenjunga, how it would be. So it's something, aspiration level, when I able to show the market that I'm not selling you a home, I'm selling you a dream. I'm selling you something where when I say someone say, I'm offering you a home in a cultural capital of India. I'm offering you a home where in morning you can see the beach from your veranda. I'm offering you a home that's from your bungalow, you can see the Mayapur Mandir Chura. So all these are sentiments people see that out of city. When I'm ready to move 150s or 200 or 300 kilometers, there must be some catch which would be, unparalleled with anything. Not again a city, not in, 5 kilometers behind Rajarhat. So this particular, thought process has worked a lot, and after COVID, people really have understood that they need a space where they can breathe openly without any fear. So they have started investing, and now in last 2 to 3 years, we found that people are now become very aggressive with it. Now, out of affordability, they are ready to invest more into luxury. So we are coming up in the same projects, and further phases, we are coming up more luxurious products.
Very nice. Mr. Patodia, so you are in the process of kind of, expanding your footprint to other cities, mostly Hyderabad and, so on. So like, what are the underlying opportunities as well as, the challenges Kolkata throw at you as compared to other cities?
Good afternoon, everyone. Percy, thank you for having us here. Shantanu, why don't you sit down? It feels like a teacher is asking us questions from here. Our groups recently expanded to Hyderabad, and we've, expanding to some other cities. And I can safely say Calcutta is the most affordable city to stay in, and it's actually one of the most livable cities to stay in terms of infrastructure. The social facilities which we have here, they're actually great. Sometimes the grass seems green on the other side, but having been on the other side, I can say Calcutta is actually one of the most stable markets which we have in India. We've never had fluctuation of growth. We've never had non-delivery from builders. So, and at the same time, Calcutta has always, in terms of price point, it has seen a stable growth. It's never seen, 0 to 100 and then 100 to 60. So we've always seen a stable growth. So it's always had the buyer's confidence, in builders here have always been consistent. Having said that, there's a huge opportunity in Calcutta which we're seeing now. Is one, because of the dense talent pool which we have. I've been speaking to IT companies outside as well. All of them are looking to come to Calcutta. And that's going to be a huge catalyst of growth for Calcutta. We have one of the lowest costs in terms of square footage. Not only in the city, but also in the suburbs. Compared to Hyderabad, Bangalore, everywhere, we have a robust infrastructure which is coming up. We have new highways coming up, new roads coming up. We had the oldest metro. Other cities are implementing it now. We're expanding it now. So Calcutta has a huge potential that way, and once they come in, it'll be a huge boost for us. And not only that, we're into commercial real estate as well, and me and Arihant's doing something as well. So we were also speaking about it. We're seeing a huge boost in growth in that as well. So all of this will lead to a huge growth in Calcutta. And it's definitely the most affordable city here. We have our own set of challenges compared to other cities. One is, for affordability, we need large land banks. Without land bank, we can't function. Unfortunately, in Calcutta, we have very fragmented land holdings. So, half the time we're like tailors here. हम लोग सिलाई करते रहते ज़मीन का. So that takes a lot of time. But, we already in Kredai has been talking to government very actively. We hope to reach a solution for this. Once that comes up, I think Calcutta has a huge potential. Companies are definitely looking at it. The lowest cost of living in a tier 1 city. I think Calcutta is poised for great growth. Definitely poised for great growth.
So what about the challenges you are facing in Hyderabad?
See, Hyderabad has its own set of challenges. One, we feel it's greener, and it's definitely, it has its own boost because there's such a big IT industry supporting it there. But there's a slowdown right now. Prices jumped quite a bit. People out there want larger flat sizes. So now ticket sizes have jumped. They're not used to smaller flat sizes. Secondly, their titles have a different issue because they've all devolved from the Nizam. So it's not like you get a 100% clear title out there either. So every city has its own challenges. In terms of infrastructure, Bangalore is facing a huge water shortage. Calcutta has we don't even discuss these issues.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
We don't even discuss these issues ki pani nahi hai.
So, one interesting insight, when you said that in terms of affordability, the rental is on the lowest as compared to, other tier 1 cities. So, yesterday we are hosting one consulting firm in our office. So, we are talking on these lines. And you know what was the feedback he gave? In fact, this is a problem which we faced while doing Accenture in Bhubaneswar also. They are apprehensive in expanding operation to cities which is sub-dollar market. Sub-dollar market, because they feel that infrastructure is not up to the mark. This is an interesting insight. Trust me, like, you know, before yesterday, I was not in the know of it. I was not in the know of it. And that is the base part of Calcutta. Of late, what we are witnessing, a lot of consulting firms are kind of, you know, expanding to this city only because of the fact that we have steady availability of, you know, entry-level talent. That is one thing, you know, Calcutta will score over other cities.
No, I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm disagreeing with you. Not only entry-level talent, if you go to Hyderabad, Bangalore, and we've been there for quite some time, we've done IT parks in Bangalore as well, 25% of their workforce is from the east.
Absolutely, you are bang on.
And this is not only from the entry level, and they see one of the highest attrition rates, and IT industry is seeing a 30% attrition rate.
Absolutely.
So we've had dialogues where they're all looking at east, because if they come here, they're retaining talent at a lower cost, and the talent is much happier being at home now, when you're surrounded with family and everything. And honestly, you know, I think today we have huge campuses being built here. ITC, Cognizant, Tata, Infosys, Wipro, they're all building large campuses. And MIG is the catalyst to grow.
Absolutely. So you are absolutely bang on. Like, you know, we need to kind of build that kind of infrastructure, and the land is a problem. So that's something.
More than the infrastructure is just that we have to change the perception as individuals in Calcutta.
Absolutely.
Is whenever we are sitting on a panel discussion, all we talk about is what is the challenges with Calcutta as a city and an infrastructure. It's very, very rarely that we come across and we talk about what is the pro of Calcutta as a city. Like what Saumya rightly pointed out, be the metro, the infrastructure, the social infrastructure, no shortage of water, electricity, all of that, we never talk about the pros of it. If we ourselves don't talk about the pros about Calcutta, we can't expect someone from the outside to talk about it. We have to change that perception about us as citizens itself.
So, Arihant ji, like, you know, every time I go to cities like Bangalore and Calcutta, we used to kind of, you know, hold road shows for all the clients. And there we try to kind of, you know, project Calcutta in right light. It's like people are convinced, but somewhere down the line, you know, it's all about पैसा. कहाँ उनको धंधा ज़्यादा मिलता है. ये एक perception जो build हो गया है, ये change करने अब ठीक है, हो जाएगा. Don't worry. So, Mr. Shroff, like, you know, on one side you co-develop 42. On the other side, like, you are coming up a project in Srirampur, right? So, like, you know, when dealing with your customers, what are the kind of, you know, behavioral changes you have witnessed?
Firstly, thank you to Realty Plus for having me over for this panel discussion. Good afternoon to each one of you. To your question, Shantanu, post-COVID, as you know, other panelists were mentioning, the behavioral changes which has happened is that no matter whether you're buying a 42 or whether you're buying a new Kolkata, you firstly look at the location. What is your purpose of buying? Are you going to be an end user where you're going to use us as your primary home? Or is a second home, weekend home, retirement home? Based on that, you see what you need, what you don't need in terms of location, view, what are the conveniences around you in terms of schools, medical facilities, entertainment, etc. So this is with regard to all of that. But one more noticeable change which has come in is that people are not just looking at the tangible benefits anymore about the square footage or amenities, but it's also more intangible. So what is the kind of community that is going to be there in the complex is also playing a huge role, where they should feel that they are getting upgraded to a community, whether it's a 50 lakh home or a 10, 20 crore home. That is one behavioral change which has happened. I quite agree to what he said that post-COVID, now since you can work remotely, you end up spending more time at home. So for that reason, people are looking at larger homes with all sorts of amenities that is there, be it a gym or a swimming pool. Another noticeable trend after COVID has been with the quick commerce of Zomato and Blinkit.
So traditionally in luxury projects, Arihant has done so many luxury developments in Calcutta. We would typically give 1 or 2 service lifts and goods lifts. But in a high rise of, say, beyond 30-story buildings, I can't afford my domestic helper to be vanished for 20, 30 minutes. And you have so many Zomatos and Swiggies coming in. So whether you can dedicate a dumbwaiter system through which it can come up, can you have a small refrigerator kept in the lobby for any ice creams and stuff coming in, so that this downtime of your domestic helper is not there. I think that's a new trend which we all should focus on when we are building not just luxury but even the mid segment. So these are some of the patterns that we have noticed. Yeah, that's about it.
Sir, एक बात बोलिए. So going forward, like, Calcutta market, do you want to see, I mean, how do you perceive Calcutta market? It will be investor driven or end user driven? What will be the kind of, percentage?
So it will be end user driven, and that is good for the entire market, I believe, if investors stay out of it, because in the long term cycle, that does not work. And we are starting to see that in other places of India as well, where prices rapidly increased, which ultimately has an effect on future land acquisitions and your inventory drying up. So I believe Calcutta is a very strong, stable market, as Saumya said. I believe it would be 85 to 90% as an end user, and maybe not more than 10% as investors. Now, within the end users, the category you need to see is how many of them are primary home users, how many of them are second home users. Some of us classify the second home users as investors, but they're not investors. They are your second home users.
So, Varunji, like, you have diversified interest. You have senior living, you have couple of, IT park, you are into residential as well. Like that, construction price is rising. Like, how will you kind of, address that issue? Because construction pricing, I mean, enhancement of construction pricing will have a direct linkage to, like, the per square feet rate. So how do you want to kind of, address that issue? Especially considering the fact that overall the salary increment of that, the people who want to buy houses, like that is not corresponding to, like, the overall increase of price. So how do you want to kind of address that gap?
Namaskar, Kolkata. A very good afternoon to all of you. It's a pleasure to be a part of this esteemed panel and to share insights with all of you. I welcome everyone who has come out of state. As Arihant mentioned, Calcutta needs to change the perception, and it is already changing the perception. In fact, previously also in the previous session, the MD of Imami mentioned that, in next decade, you will see that we may be coming up with better projects than even Maharashtra. Because the talent in Bengal is far better. The resources is better in Maharashtra, but the talent in Bengal is far better. And I think everybody sitting over here will agree with me. Now, coming to the question, this is a perpetual problem. The prices are going to continue to increase, and as developers, we are going to face this challenge perpetually. It's not a problem that we are going to face now, pre-COVID, post-COVID, but it's a perpetual problem that we are going to continue facing. The only solution to this is innovation. As you are seeing that a lot of developers, we are, playing with different construction materials. We are, experimenting. We are taking the risk. Some materials may be priced cheaper, but more environment friendly and long-term in terms of, research. So it definitely requires more exploration in that aspect. Also, we have been seeing Godrej using commercially the technology of 3D printing in Pune. So obviously it's at a very nascent stage, but it shows that, we have to be bold and we have to try new things. At Saltee, when we were doing senior living project, Golden Mile, the main reason for me to venture into this project in Bengal itself was because I could make a 5-star project affordable. And in, Bengal has a population which is increasing in age, right? For a better part of decade, Bengal's talent has been traveling to different parts of the world, and its, aging population has been left behind. So it was very important for me to cater to this particular problem, and Bengal became the forefront because I could make 5-star luxury affordable. Even though, as Manab mentioned, that the perspective between luxury and affordable varies, and the ticket size of clients also varies. So what may be affordable for me may not be affordable for others. Having said that, in Bengal we had that opportunity. So in order to bridge the gap of the challenge of increasing construction price and maintaining the price point for the benefit of end users, it is important that we as developers continue innovating, adopting new technologies, and obviously it is at the very foremost that we are productive and efficient. Because if construction cycles are not going to be maintained, and I think a lot of members who are present here have developed new kind of AI technology, CRMs, engineering modules, which help us pre-plan the project very efficiently. The budgeting is a very important aspect, right? If your calculation, your BOQs are not correct, and you do not have the right connect, you do not have the competent team to negotiate for you, because we have to procure in bulk. Few developers, as you have seen, have changed the game of real estate by approaching it in scale. You cannot, real estate is very difficult to make it a scale game, right? While maintaining quality. An app, it's very easy. You can scale it, globally within, a month, a week, in fact. We have seen that happening. It's not like it hasn't happened. But in real estate, it is very difficult because the resources it takes, the expertise it takes, and the successful execution it takes. We all see the success coming front, but the labor that goes behind, the expertise that it requires to execute something properly and efficiently, I think that is where the key lies. And we all as developers need to maintain that. It's not a game of anymore, just going on the fancies of, karke dekhte hai, ho jayega. It is about planning and pinpointing that execution. And obviously, we are, adopting different kind of technologies which are helping us in achieving that.
Very nicely articulated, Varun. So, Arihant, how do you see the buyers, behaviors evolving in next 5 years?
Like Calcutta as a market traditionally has been a very conservative market, to be very frank. Buyers are very conscious about the buying decision. But lately what I have seen is there has been a drastic fall in the age bracket of the decision makers. Previously, I think the decision makers were majorly from the age between 45 to 55, 60. But lately, I've seen that the principal decision makers now has come down to the age of anything between 30 to 35. They are a major principal decision makers, be it whichever sector or whichever segment of the market it might be. The second most important aspect which I feel is that buyers have all become very brand conscious. They now very well understand that which developer has a better propensity and a better quality history or a better delivery history to a certain market when it comes to affordability and luxury. So they become very cautious and very conscious as well. They do their prior homework, and it's not just about what the price is being offered. They are still willing to spend a slightly extra than maybe another peer might be or another project might be charging. But if they get something better out of it, like what Yashaswi said, when it comes to an intangible effect, right? The kind of neighbors that are shifting into a building. Most importantly, is the after-sale services that they get it from the developer. They want more than just 4 walls and a roof. That has been a drastic shift. It's just not just the monetary aspect of the buying, but it's a lot of other things which is having a domino effect on the entire buying cycle. And the third most important thing that I feel now is since the time COVID till now, because there were a lot of impetus and a lot of subsidies that was given when it came to the home loan rates as well as the government, the demand for slightly bigger apartments was still there. Just some time back, Saumya and I were just discussing, is also now going forward, we developers need to again go back to the drawing board and start planning efficient apartments again. Because the prices have peaked, they are on the higher spectrum, and the impetus and the subsidies are no longer there. So we have to be very cautious and conscious about what we are planning for the projects to come in the future, because that's what will define the next 5 years. Because what has happened in the last 5 years, I personally feel that's not the barometer for the coming next 5 to 10 years. We'll have to change our thought process. Whatever COVID's demand was there, what was the requirement during COVID and post-COVID, I think that has already been kind of accommodated and the consumption has happened. Now it's the new market, new buyers that have come into the market, and we have to go back to the drawing board, not just when it comes to the planning, but also when it comes to the after-sale services, the what more as a developer when it comes to the technology, smart homes, sustainability, and also people have become conscious about the kind of people they are living in. Because if COVID has happened, they understand that something like this can happen in the future as well. So if there is another lockdown, God forbid it doesn't happen, but if there is another lockdown or we are asked to stay back at home, they would all want to stay with like-minded people as one big family. So I think that's what we perceive.
Very nice. So, Mr. Paul, the sustainability is a buzzword, right? So in your project, because most of them are outskirts, so how do you blend that, customers' delight in that, sustainability factor? So here I'm referring to the greeneries and all, how do you do it?
Sustainability is something, if we say it is the project, we're taking steps in sustainability, we are taking many steps and we are implementing it. But how much is practically we the builders are actually doing? So we need really a proper audit, I'm saying honestly. But in my case, in the outskirts of the city, somehow we've been able to, I'm saying you very honestly, because the land size is huge, land cost is very low. So I can afford a project where the open land is more than 80-82%. So in such case, really we can make some eco-friendly projects. Say one of my project in North Bengal, in Doers, in lap of Himalaya. So we have only delivered 3 phases basically. 800 big trees has been planted yet till date, 800. And the entire project, 2000 plus big trees are planned in landscape designing. So this is only for the plantations, and other parts are there, STPs and how we are making the constructions. So all the aspects are there, but I'm saying you, it's possible. If the project size is huge, it's possible. If there is some space for the builders. But in my project in Shonarpur, making it real sustainable, it's a challenge. But still, we have taken steps to make the project. So we are not making the project like we used to do in 10 years back. It's both project are now, during construction stage only, we have taken many steps as per the norms also and beyond the norms also. So I think the other builders, other big houses are that they are also making big projects, and every big houses, they have taken enough steps. But maybe for unorganized sector, it's very difficult to maintain. But we have learned how to do it. That I can say you. We have learned how to do it, how to implement it, and end of the day we are delivering, and customers, they are getting benefited out of this. Many projects are there where we can see if we entered in the project, we may say this, we come into a garden where a lot of big trees and zero water disposal projects, and sanitary systems and everything planned like in next gen level. So we are doing, and customer at the end of the day they are getting many, and sales also, the sales part, as Arihant says, now the young generation comes into picture. Well, time to taking a decision, and they are very much aware. the people now, they ask, this how the project is, how much sustainable, what are the steps that we have taken, it's a zero disposal project or not, how you are using the wastewater. So all these things are matter. And the price of sales price and the price factors are also depends on that points.
So you are saying that, overall the definition of aspiration has changed. People have become more conscious.
Yes, yeah, people have become more conscious. And many changes happen. See, in parking, now we plan the parking, 20% of the parking, people are saying this EV charging points are there or not.
That has become mandatory. I
That's
think.
become mandatory, and people are asking for this. Where this is not mandatory, also people are asking for it because they have changed their cars into EV also. So overall, it's a solar light. How much we have taken the steps for the common area lighting? This is a very common question. I'm saying you. People now the they comes and says common area garden lighting and everything is solar. Is it solar? Because the young generation, most of them into ITs and they are working with MNCs. They used to go, hang around all the world, many places. So they see that these are become very normal. So these are not very, unique steps we need to take. So all the garden lights are solar. Zero water disposal project, EV charging stations are there. It's pathway and everything is not 100% concrete. It's green patches are there or not. So all these things are matter.
So one interesting statistics, like India is the only country which gets sunlight for 300 days. India is the only country.
Only country.
So it's just that, whatever traction we are seeing in semiconductor, those chips are getting manufactured in other countries because lithium is not available. I mean, till now we have not started mining in Kashmir. But having said that, that is a natural resource which we get, and India is going to do well in that front. So, sir, over to you. So, mid-segment housing happens to be the backbone of Calcutta, right? So going forward, how do you see, or rather, if there are any challenges which you need to kind of request you to call out, and how we can mitigate that?
Honestly, like you correctly said, mid-segment is the backbone for our economy, not only for Calcutta, for India as well.
Absolutely.
That is where the real spending power is. And, if mid-segment does well, the economy will do well. Having said that, Calcutta, we've seen mid-segment always have a robust growth. This is one segment which is actually one of my favorite segments. And, we call it affordable, but it's actually no longer affordable. We've started calling it aspirational luxury. Because the kind of facilities we give in mid-segment projects, even high-end projects don't have them. Because you have the land bank, mid-segment projects are generally larger in sizes. So, they're honestly like mini townships. So they have literally sporting facilities. So the idea is that a person, once he's inside, he doesn't need to leave. We've started creating co-working spaces in mid-segment housing as well. So, having said that, the challenge which we face is, rising project costs overall. And this is not just it's not only Bengal-centric, it's India-centric. And, with that, prices will increase. So, we were discussing it with you behind as well, that, post-COVID, there was a huge boost in demand, and all of us, there was a huge sellout. Basically, everyone's inventory got over. So when the replanning happened, people were used to now, after COVID, they realized the value of space. So all the flats became larger. In fact, my sales head and everyone here, we were having a discussion a couple of days back. All our inventory which are left in projects are the smaller units. All the larger units are sold out. But going forward, the prices have increased. Now it's becoming unaffordable for the person in that segment. Correct. So we'll have to go back to the drawing board. That's one of the largest challenges we face, because we have to reinvent ourselves when coming to sizes. Now, our brief to the architects were also larger spaces. So, construction cost is going to rise. There's no, because, we also want to pay, everything is rising, pay scales, cost, resources are finite. Everything is, so with that, I think, you can, आप कितना innovate करते हैं? We'll get new technology. Honestly, आप luxury housing देखिए या middle housing देखिए, cement, steel का दाम तो same है. Any developed or any recognized builder will not compromise on that. I want to go home, sleep at night. Correct. I will not go for a C-grade steel just to save 50 rupees a square feet or 20 rupees a square feet. I want to give the best. So my basic construction cost is the same for all my projects. So here you have to innovate by better planning your facilities, better planning your buildings. You know, what had happened during COVID or post-COVID or Sunday, we were talking about this, people started going for high rises, 30 floors, 20 floors. जहाँ पे दाम नहीं पुसाते तो मत बनाइए. You know, you don't have to go for that one-man upshift. We'll all have to be conscious about that fact. You consume your FAR, you build it at a price point which is suitable for you. And you have to build a house where you are willing to stay. You can't compromise कि कोई और का घर है. You know, in my group, we hate it when my father comes to the site. Because he's so strict about it, if he sees one tali idhar udhar, he'll get it broken down. So when he goes, we know my cost is increasing only, it's not decreasing. But that is the ethos with which we grow, na? That you have to deliver the best. And mid-segment, if you do well, that is where the volume is, that is which is scalable. This is the only scalable format. And mid-segment is the only catalyst for growth in the economy.
Rightly articulated, sir. Rightly articulated.
And I just want to add a point which you were talking about. Sustainability, honestly, every builder is doing, you know, because now the government is encouraging sustainability by giving us free FAR. Well, not free, but they're giving us additional FAR for green buildings. And you have to do a minimum gold-rated building. So sustainability is getting built in. And water treatment plant, rainwater harvesting and all has been done historically in Calcutta. Every project has it, whether it's a green building or not a green building. Now the challenge is educating the end user as well. हम लोग बना के दे देते हैं. But we will leave the project after a couple of years. Then it is the society's responsibility, not the builder's responsibility to carry that forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, you know, maintenance plays a huge role, and what I'm given to understand that, you know, people are still kind of getting educated. Like ये जो ऊपर में आपका जो ये सोलर का पैनल भी होता है ना, उसमें धूल जम जाता है. उसमें ओवरऑल आपका जो like, you know, the electricity जो sun light जो absorb करता है ना, the absorption power goes down. People don't realize. So, you know, these are things which people are getting educated, and going forward we'll see a, like, you know, such kind of stuff in all buildings. And that's how, like, government is also offering subsidy, which is a fact. तो लोगों को ही मालूम नहीं है कि कैसे ये करना है.
That's why I said, ultimately builder will make it. It has to be
हाँ, so
maintained by
you will
society.
make, but you will not be able to maintain beyond the point. It's like the people who are living, they need to know.
Absolutely.
है ना?
So the larger education needs to go back. We can give you whatever facility you want. There's a price point for everything.
Correct.
On a monetary front, we are all providing youth sinking funds as well.
Absolutely.
But the education needs to get in.
That is what I am saying. ये education जो है यही कम है. That lacks. Sir, what you? So 3-4 key trends which will kind of, you know, define this residential market of Calcutta in next 2-3 years maybe.
So residential market in Calcutta the next 3 years, the key trends, I think luxury market, even though we've spoken so much about mid-segment, but I think luxury and ultra-luxury will continue to grow, number one. Number two, people are preferring more number of balconies and larger spaces of balconies. So that should also come up, and that should also grow with the proposed rule amendments in KMC, which is due for half a decade. Whenever that happens, that should encourage us to give double height balconies and thereby increasing that. That is one. And as I said, community living. So a lot of more stress on community, and what other panelists said about it is not just when you're buying the home, you're looking at the square footage, but a lot of the intangibles. So how your home is going to be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road. How are the developers going the extra mile to take care of the maintenance? It is not the finance which is the problem, it is the education and sometimes the intent which is the problem. So how can the developer handle that in the transition phase to ensure that if I'm giving a golden product to you, that product remains to be golden even 20 years down the road. And I think with inflation rates being well under control, we will see more interest rates going down, getting cut by the RBI. As soon as that happens, it should help in increasing demand in all the segments.
Very nice, sir. So, Varunji, last question to you. So what amenities do buyers look in both segments, right? According to you, what are amenities? Like, the buyers look in, both the segments.
Well, I think the headlines today is what Saumya said, that the most affordable city isn't affordable anymore, right? So, I mean, like in budget category and in luxury category, we have to segregate what amenities mean. Because in budget category, it has to be an anchor amenity which will attract more and more people and the necessities which are done well. Any reputed developer will focus onto that because it's not about making a khichdi, that you include everything and you give a buffet of amenities just because it's buffet, just because it's budget category, and you try to, loop in as many people as you can, trying to, showcase the scale of the project in that sense. So it's very important to have that understanding as to what matters to the end user, right? Like what Yashaswi said in his last session about the downtime, right? So in my project, Splendora, we only have 63 apartments, but we have given 4 elevators, only for this particular reason. So there are 2 service elevators and 2 passenger elevators in the project itself. So that in itself is a luxury in a mid-segment project, right? So the definitions are changing. To, put it bluntly, the definitions are changing as to what amenities really stand for, who the end user is, and what they're looking for, right? Because for someone, location may also be an amenity, right? Because if someone is looking for access to their office or the school of their children to be nearby, for them, location is also an amenity. So I think I would like to define it in that sense as to amenities, what the buyer is looking for, what the end user is looking for, and how well the developer has understood the end user and the requirements of that end user and planned their project, right? So it's a balance of this both that will define the amenities going down the line. It's not about giving everything in one project and having taking a guess that it will work out, right? So because it's also about costing. And it's also, I see so many projects, not just in Bengal, but outside as well, that have so many different amenities which are not being used. What is the point? At the end of the day, just to attract the buyers at the initial stage, right? You loop in, and then it does not serve them the value that they need. So you provide what your end user needs and ensure that it is going to be used. Then it is worth the square feet that you're putting it on. Otherwise, it's not. And so, and being, MD of Saltee, I can say if a developer has got its Saltee right, meaning site, access, location, topography, elevation, and experience, they will never face a problem. And that is what amenities they should opt for.
Very nice, sir. Nicely articulated. So it has been a very engaging session. Honestly speaking, I have learned a lot from all of you. And so I leave the panel to audience. Any question?
Kindly give them a big round of applause. Can I have bigger round of applause over here, Kolkata? Thank you. And I'll request Ajay Rajbed, Director of Tiles Squared, to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to our speakers on stage. And once we are done with the token of appreciation, we'll be doing a special group photograph together. Once we are done with all the token of appreciations, we'll be doing a nice group photograph with all of you over here. Thank you you so much. If you don't mind, can I please request all of you to come forward? I think that would be a better frame. है ना? Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was all about budget to bespoke East housing demand dynamics. Can I have another big round of applause for all our dynamic speakers?